John Sutherland. John Sutherland has had poems published in the following literary magazines: The Meadow, Lime Hawk, Gravel, Prick of the Spindle, Blast Furnace, and the Maine Review, for which he won honorable mention for their poetry prize in 2015. Sean is a MacDowell Colony Fellow whose plays have been produced in Maine, Los Angeles, and New York City. He self-published a chapbook of short poems and haiku in 2010 entitled Forever in the City, Forever Arriving. He is currently studying with Philip Schultz in the master class at the Writer's Studio.
Thank you for coming tonight. This first poem is called Lost in a Neighborhood of Queens. I pass a small bridge-keeper's house. In the slender window, a hand holds a glass coffee pot as someone readies himself for a long shift, and the red drawbridge light floats on the black canal water below. Down the other side of the bridge, I enter the past, an old granite bridge out to sea in Maine. Its arched back surfaces under an ocean night sky higher than time. A cloud sails past, like a Spanish galleon suffused with light, and the full moon casts our 5 young faces in milk blue. If someone were to cough in Spain across the great glass calm, we would hear it. The stars, like small children, have come close to sit low on the horizon, because they have heard we are going to go where they cannot go, into the sway of seaweed with its dark channel. The height discovered in our yells is silence as something comes rushing up from the bottom to wrap our feet in cold. Surfacing, our tongues taste like the clear mineral brine of an oyster, and from above we spot the green phosphorescent swarm on each of our shoulders. Then we stand, dry and calm, as the black pines have drunk even the faint ticking of our heartbeats, to look out at the long bend of the sea. Was there a voice about to speak? One that could tell us that we are already here, a part of this milky blue white silence? Only the sound of gears pulled down 4 miles up the island, as the drunk we all know puts his truck into first up the hill, heading for Halifax, with a few 100 pounds of lobster at 3 a.m. His brake lights flash, a little forest fire, and they are gone with all the years since. As I walk past a junkyard, the steel frame of a car window shines at me. That drunk is buried under a tree now. That cloud became morning rain. This next poem is called The Loons. The fish casts its August shadow on the bronze lake bottom below. I walk into the woods. The last full moon of summer begins above the pines. A stage set of western light still. I see a loon dove and hear its mournful call, which always sounds to me like it never expects an answer. My sister, whom I love and will never know fully, leaves the cottage. The screen door slams. Delayed over the water. Silence. It's just a toothbrush you want? Clear as if she was standing next to me, she says. Someone told me once the Germans have a word for missing home while at home. I forgot that, I hear her say, and the rest is taken by the cottage door, the lake, the oncoming night, and the cry now of 2 loons about something far off. This next poem is called An Unanswerable Question. My father's wedding ring encircles a little corner of blonde wood at the bottom of my sock drawer, shaped more oblong than round from all the things he tried to shove into place. aluminum lids to garbage cans, 2x4s not flush, or engine covers to outboards that denied him all but a repair bill. Bashed down, the ring looks up at me with the same vacuous stare that came over him when he took a short break from one of his fits of anger. He would look out into the sunlight of the open basement door, 3-penny nail in his mouth, or sit up from the stern of a boat, seawater blooming rainbows of motor oil at his feet, wrench loose in hand, slack-jawed, eyes large, as though he had just heard a voice ask an unanswerable question of himself. What if he were shown a patience he never knew? I keep the drawer open to return his stare as long as I can, not wanting to shut it too quickly and leave him there alone. This next poem is called, "And This Is What Breaks Me to 1,000 Pieces I Want to Share." I can no longer stand to be in my apartment. Out on the sidewalk, I search the faces of those who come towards me, ready to nod good morning. I want more than a coffee. In the back of the 24-hour Quick Mart, I see a man at the table where nobody ever sits, unwrapping a plastic wrapped poisson. He wears a baby blue windbreaker with the insignia of a bowling club. His distended eyes are splayed out wide to each corner, unable to look at anyone directly, which I recognize. He surveys his surroundings, as if he has just discovered nobody ever sits at his table beside all that toilet paper to eat their breakfast. Whose son is he, or brother, I wonder? Where has he gone to be here? We have been the same man, incapable of the quick, dignified greetings these customers share, ordering their egg sandwiches and lottery tickets. When he turns to me finally, and I offer him a silent hello, he appears both curious and confused, or as when someone on the verge of tears when a joke is made can laugh but wear half a grin. I cannot look away, and out of my uncomfortable body, I point to his breakfast and smile and give a thumbs up, and out of his huddled body, he raises his breakfast 3 inches off the table, flakes flaking off, and with his half-pained smile, he inspires me to wear for 5 blocks after. He says, "Croissant." This last poem's called "The North Dakota Women's Volleyball Team." Coming from the east, erasing the dark, from my window in the 12-seater plane before I touch down at the Montana airport, I see a tight group of deer bound along the outer edge of a crisply lit farmyard. They seem in slow motion from above, take their leaps as if they were memory already, which seems as impossible as to no longer again feel my hand crawl into a small purple sneaker that belonged to the daughter of a woman I loved, find the key to their door, enter, and hear the past come to a halt. My old friend picks me up. We catch up and talk of endings until 2 a.m. when I swear I hear his dead parents' fat brown dining room set in the next room stub its lion-clawed chairs on the floor, as if people keep getting up quickly to try and move away from listening to the two of us, because we are lodged in the past, more than his parents, until 3 days later, past ground transportation and slamming car doors, the tight embrace of goodbyes and sleep at gate B43, I realized I had woken up into real time. The North Dakota women's volleyball team has surrounded me in their seats, and lying on their backs with legs crossed, wearing pink-rimmed glasses, staring up into novels they hold toward the ceiling about housewives marooned with Wall Street husbands, with one fidgety leg going, or sharing sentiments quietly, like, I have been observing my mind for the last hour. All in their bodies, some sleeping deeply, all wearing green sweatsuits, like the green of forests in spring, when I was a boy, pretending to be as silent as an Indian, when the woods knew I was there, grew quiet for a time, until I sat and arrived in return of birdsong.